Stan Gibilisco here. We all get unsolicited telephone messages, even if we try to block them. Call blocking, I believe they call that. Sometimes, well, as long as people don't say anything, you'll get silence, and I call that a Zen message. And it's illegal for people to say anything or leave any messages for you that are not relevant to your interests if you have signed up with your telephone company for phone or voicemail blocking, unsolicited voicemail blocking. But sometimes certain entities will defy that mandate anyway, and I got one the other day. Probably came from another country. There's probably absolutely nothing that anyone in the United States can do about it except get wise. But this one was particularly toxic. I don't get very many, by the way, that actually get through that I do not want, that are not relevant to my interests. But this one definitely was not. What it said was that the Internal Revenue Service had issued a warrant for my arrest, and that if I wanted more information, I should call the following number, blah-biddy-blah-biddy-blah. Well, that was fishing for personal information, no doubt, but I did call a telephone number to get some more information about that, and it was the local police department. And they said, don't even open that message. Just ignore it. Delete it without even reading it. It is bogus. We've had several reports of people getting that message, a warrant out for your arrest because the Internal Revenue Service thinks you've done something wrong. And by the way, they said there is no warrant that we have on record for your arrest. And I guess the local police would know whether there was a warrant or not. I suppose, though, if there had actually been a warrant, I was prepared for the possibility that I could go to jail, but I figured that possibility was extremely remote. And it turned out it was zero. I did delete the message without reading it, and all has been fine ever since. But this is just to warn you that if you get any phone message, and they call themselves the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, and they tell you you're being audited or that that a warrant has been issued for your arrest or anything, delete it without even opening it. The Internal Revenue Service will not contact you by telephone or by email either, as I understand it. They will only contact you through regular snail mail, the postal service. Just a heads up from Stan Gibilisco, now signing off. Until next time, so long.